Welcome to Harry Cook Jr. Memorial Field, everybody, for Week 5 of the high school football season, where the Westfield Blue Devils currently 4-0 on the year, trying to make it 30 consecutive wins. Michael Lennier alongside Chris Witzel, and Chris Westfield is coming off an all-around incredible performance in their win last week over Watchung Hills, 35-7. Hank Shapiro with a tremendous performance, having 4 touchdowns, and the defense was unstoppable, Chris. Jake Valabera and Joe Sangiacomo leading the way.
Yeah, Mike, starting with the offense, Hank Shapiro, 4 touchdowns on the day, absolutely phenomenal. 3 of which went to Adam McDaniel, who had 88 yards receiving. And Stevie Barden, again, a huge factor in that game with a 54-yard touchdown pass. Absolutely incredible. And this defense, Mike, Jake Valabera, Joe Sangiacomo, and Colin Freer combined for 7 sacks on the day, 8 in total for Westfield, with William McGovern getting in there as well. And going up against another sophomore quarterback today, Andrew Sanborn, it's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, Chris, this is a Union team that knows Westfield very well. These two teams met twice last season, once in the regular season, 28-13 victory for the Blue Devils, and then once in the state semifinals, where Westfield was able to take control of the game early and get the W to advance to the state title. But this is a Union team 2-1 on the season. They've taken care of the bad teams, Plainfield and Watchung Hills. They're coming off the bye where they lost the previous week to Elizabeth, so they've had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. As you said, the sophomore quarterback, Andrew Sanborn, very talented, and he's got some nice pieces with Michael Lucian at running back and a ton of wide receivers.
Yeah, Mike, 3 of their wide receivers all have over 100 yards receiving, so it's going to be a difficult day for the secondary. And if we see Stevie Barden and Adam McDaniel at receiver, it's going to be a lot for them playing both ways. But also this Union team has a lot of players going both ways. Martin, Lucian, and I'm pretty sure even Sanborn plays a little bit of the defensive end as well. It's going to be a very big game for both these teams, and hoping to be a very good one as well.
Yeah, Westfield getting into that heart of the schedule with tough games against Union and Elizabeth. Westfield and Union, Week 5 of the high school season, coming right up here at 7 o'clock on BDTV. First quarter, welcome you to Harry R. Cook Jr. Memorial Field at Union High School. The 4-0 Westfield Blue Devils trying to make it 30 wins in a row as they take on the 2-1 Union Farmers. Michael Lennier alongside Chris Witzel. And as we said, we apologize for the technical difficulties. 8:19 remaining in the first quarter, and what happened was Westfield got the ball to start off the game, and then on the second play of the game, Hank Shapiro throws an interception to the Union cornerback, Michael Lucian, the 6', 200-pound junior, also the star running back for this Farmer team, coming up with a big interception, and now this Union offense capitalizing on the run.
Mike, to start this game, we've seen a lot of sweeps. 2 plays ago, saw a sweep by number 6 of this team, Justin Peterman, for an 11-yard gain. And this Westfield D, I spoke to Jake Felt earlier today. He said they have to win the line of scrimmage, and right now it just looks like that with all the plays bouncing to the outside, this D-line, it really has to break, or excuse me, the linebacker core really has to get there and fill those gaps. The D-line, they're filling up the holes right up the middle, not making it possible for the Union backs to run right up there. But this defensive back core and this linebacker core has got to contain the outside.
3rd and 4 for the Farmers in the battle of the sophomore quarterbacks. A man in motion's Andy Martin, number 2. Sanborn rolling to his right, looking in the end zone, and it's deflected by Adam McDaniel, incomplete, to bring up 4th and 4 inside the red zone on this opening possession for the Farmers.
Yeah, Mike, the Westfield offense and the Farmers offense has something in common. Usually when we see Hank throw the ball, it's a lot of rolling out to the right side, trying to find the receiver, and right there we saw Sanborn do the same exact thing, and it's probably because, both sophomores, not as experienced, probably want to get those more, quick outs and about 10, 15-yard passes instead of the big Hail Mary. We've seen the Hank Shapiro do that plenty of times last week, and again in Ridge to that pass to Stevie Barden. But right now, it's just like both are just trying to find the quick outs. But before, didn't work too well with Hank Shapiro throwing the interception, his 2nd of the season.
4, they're going to go for it. Sanborn firing, incomplete, intended for the senior Andy Martin. So a huge stop from this Westfield defense, and they'll get the ball back. And they'll try to have a better turnout than that opening drive from the interception, Shapiro's 2nd INT of the year.
Yeah, but, we said that he's had a lot of confidence right there. It's just a hiccup. We've seen Hank at his best. We've also seen at his worst going back to Linden in week 1, but he's definitely progressed throughout the season. That's what all these fans really want to see.
So Shapiro coming off a huge game, as we mentioned earlier. 4 touchdowns, 3 of them to Adam McDaniel. He's got 373 yards on the season. And there's Tim Allegro with his second carry of the ball game, picking up 2 yards.
I'm like, they really want to get Tim Allegro going. Coming to this game, 496 yards on 91 carries. That's coming at about 5.5 yards a carry, along with 6 rushing touchdowns. He's just really their whole offense. Sure, we saw only 1 touchdown from last week and not too many rushing yards, but if they can get him going this game, it's going to be really hard to stop him.
.640 to go here in quarter number 1. 2nd and 8. Allegro, nowhere to go. He is wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage for a loss by Chauncey Caffey, the 6'4", 240-pound senior.
And like in the beginning of the game, we've seen Jake Obsgarden in there at fullback. Haven't seen too much of him or any fullback this season. We see a lot of 2 tight ends, and right now Colin Freer checking in the game for him. And we were also talking about how we thought we'd see a lot more of Adam McDaniel and Stevie Barden on the field because of what happened last week. But, you know, playing both ways, it can really take a lot out of you, and they probably want to limit them for right now.
Play action, Shapiro in some pressure, able to get out of it, and has a receiver on the far sideline for a Westfield first down.
That was probably the smartest thing I've seen Hank Shapiro do all season. He found, I believe it was Tom Norris in the flat wide open and picks up the first down. Hank Shapiro just avoiding the pressure, and that's what an experienced quarterback does, Mike. They just get away from the pressure and dumps it off right there, picking up the first down for Westfield. And that just shows how Hank has experience and confidence throughout the season so far.
So the first down of the ball game for the Westfield offense. Allegro wrapped up quickly. This Union front line doing a good job early on of stopping Tim Allegro.
Yeah, as I said before, 5.5 yards a carry. Hasn't really been able to get 5 yards on a carry this whole game. Sure, it's early, 5:15 to go in the first quarter, but you know we usually see Tim Allegro by now, you know, bounce to the outside, getting those 10, 15-yard gains. But right now, as Adam McDaniel and Stevie Barden both check in, you know when they're in, Mike, it's probably going to go to one of them, and they're the dynamic duo on offense, and they're just a huge threat for the defense most of the time.
2nd and 10 as this first quarter flying by here in Union. Under 5 minutes to go. Shapiro drops back, and he is sacked quickly by Isaiah Martinez, the junior linebacker.
Yeah, I'm 3rd and long coming up. I would leave Barden and Stevie in there. Barden and McDaniel in there. Because, again, they're just the go-to guys on this offense. Stevie Barden, 124 yards receiving on the year in only 2 games playing. Adam McDaniel, 88 in 1 game, which is unbelievable at the high school level. And those are the guys you want to pass the ball. Sure, if they're covered, Emmett Smith open in the flat. Did drop 2 big ones last week that would have given him his first varsity touchdown on the season. But he's got to make up for it playing at the varsity level. You got to bounce back, put it all aside, and he can be a big factor in this game.
The first sack of the year for the junior Isaiah Martinez, as this play is blown dead. Timeout taken by the Blue Devils. Union's sack leader is senior captain Alex Acevedo. He's got 3 sacks on the year.
Along with 1 fumble recovery for a touchdown, too. Their only defensive touchdown on the season.
So 3rd and 10 as the Blue Devils take their first timeout of the night. And quickly, 8 minutes have already gone by. Just 3:56 remaining in quarter number 1. Again, the first 4 minutes we didn't get for you due to some technical difficulties, but Westfield got the ball. Tim Allegro on the first play of the game had a carry for 2 yards. Then Hank Shapiro looking pretty far down the field to his right side, intercepted by Michael Lucian, the junior. And then a couple of completions from Andrew Sanborn and a couple runs on the ground for the Farmers. And then they decide, very interesting, to go for it on 4th and 4 from around the 14th.
Yeah, definite field goal possibility.
An easy field goal, put 3 points on the board, take a lead against the number 11 team in the state. Instead, Westfield's defense came up with a stop, and now the offense is rolling. That pass is complete. Out to Tommy Norris.
And Mike, it just seems a lot of pressure coming off the ends. It's because the tight ends are going into the flat and going out to receive, and that's taking a lot of time away from Hank Shapiro to throw the ball. It's also because they have all the receivers spread out instead of having that extra tight end in there. And they just gotta fix that because Hank Shapiro needs time. Sure, he had a great game last week, but he's still young, inexperienced, and he's got to have time to throw the football.
A good punt from the sophomore, Will Kessler, and the punt is muffed, and Westfield recovers it. A costly mistake from the returner.
I had a feeling that one was going to be dropped, Mike. The returner on the play, I believe it was number 1, Chuck Ifukunye. Sorry if I misspelled that right there, but his body was basically turned the whole way, his chest facing his sideline, just catching it on an angle you don't want to do. They want to be square, so the ball just hits square against the chest and right into your arms. Right there, it can bounce off. If you're crooked, it can bounce off your arm, any part of your body basically, and just go to the ground. Happened right there, and Westfield lucks out, Mike.
Yeah, they get great field position from the 40-yard line. And the sophomore Tim Allegro with his best rush of the evening.
Yeah, tables definitely turned after that muff punt. Westfield, started with the ball. They don't usually do that. They usually want to start with their defense out there, but today they start with their offense. And Hank Shapiro throws the pick, get the ball back, nothing too much, but right there, deep in the Farmers' territory, they really want to capitalize and get back in. And Adam McDaniel and Stevie Barden are still out there.
2nd and 2 after the 8-yard carry. They go back on the ground. Allegro has room to his left, using the stiff arm, still on his feet, wrapped up near the 17-yard line. A big carry for Timmy Allegro.
Yeah, again and again, you see him out there and just going 110% into every run. And that's why he has 496 yards. He just doesn't give up on the play. And right there, you saw with the stiff arm, just trying to avoid the tackle as much as he could. And even when he was brought down to the ground, didn't even make contact until the defensive back for the Farmers threw him down completely. And first down for Westfield at the Farmers' 18-yard line.
Here's the pitch. Allegro spinning his way for more yards to make it 2nd and short.
Like the move.
Westfield offense, Chris, catching a very lucky break, courtesy of the muffed punt from the senior. Ifakuna.
I'm like the moves usually see Wandre House do out there, the agility, the cutbacks, the spin moves. Seen a lot of Tim Allegro. We usually see him, lower the shoulder, maybe an occasional stiff arm or two. But right now, he's showing that both he can just plow through the offensive line and uses agility as well.
Allegro up the middle. This time he is stuffed quickly.
Allegro on the carry, and he got back to the line of scrimmage.
Isaiah Martinez, the junior, with the stop for the Farmers, making it 3rd and 4 as we approach the 1-minute mark here in quarter number 1. No score as the 4-0 Westfield Blue Devils taking on the 2-1 Union Farmers. Westfield looking for win number 30 in a row, Chris. These two teams met twice last season, once in the regular season and once in the state semis. Westfield obviously winning both. And multiple flags here.
What Westfield does best. Saw it a lot week 1 against Linden. We're going to keep saying it over and over again. Just a great example. 13 penalties for over 120 yards. And right there, Westfield just uses the 2-snap count to pick up the first down. Right now, 1st and goal at the Farmers, I believe, 8-yard line. And it's just because of the discipline on the offensive line and everyone who's on the line of scrimmage. If you don't flinch and the other team advances, it's easy first downs.
So costly encroachment penalty from this Union defense. Coached by Lou Grasso Jr. This will be the last play of the first quarter. They keep it on the ground. Allegro picks up maybe a yard or two. As time is going to wind down here in quarter number 1. A quick first quarter. We saw on the second play of the ball game, Hank Shapiro throwing his 2nd interception of the season. Junior Michael Lucian making a big play for the Union defense, but the Farmers unable to convert. An interesting decision. They go for it On fourth down, they don't get it. Westfield's defense comes up big. And another costly mistake from the former special teams unit, muffing the fumble, Chris. Muffing the punt.
Yeah. Well, look like the Farmers are going to get a decent field position, you know, around their own 35, 40-yard line, turn into Westfield's advantage as the muff punt really did give Westfield a huge break. And right now, for, second and goal at the Farmers, I believe, 5-yard line. Looks like they're going to punch it in as they've done so many times this season.
So quarter number 2 here in Union. As it'll be second and goal for this Blue Devil offense.
I didn't tell her to go.
Second and goal for Westfield.
Second and goal, Shapiro looking, and it is complete. Stevie Barden on the receiving end for the first score of the evening. An easy play right there on the slant route. Stevie Barden making the catch, and Westfield up 6-0.
Yeah, Mike, Stevie Barden, his third receiving touchdown of the season, tying Adam McDaniel for the leader on the team. And Stevie Barden, that's what he does. Right there, doesn't really need to use his speed, but his hands and agility gets him into the end zone, beats the cornerback, and puts Westfield up 6-0, 7-0 now with Aiden Boland's extra point attempt.
So if the Farmers go on to lose that game, Chris, that's a huge turning point right there. They had a chance to just take 3 points, be content, get a lead against Westfield, which is not easy to do. And then just from the senior Chuck Ifakunwa, a muff punt, he's not going to forget, Chris.
Nah, definitely. That's going to, don't want to sound like too overzealous, but that's definitely going to haunt him right there as Westfield did score a touchdown off that muff punt, and if that's the difference in this game, you know he's going to be very disappointed in himself because as a punt returner, your one main job is to catch it. Your second one is to advance in the field, you know, run after the punt is caught. And right there, just a very mental mistake. It's really gonna affect him throughout this game.
So Kessler, who's punted once, will now be on kickoff duties. Andy Martin will return this one from the 10-yard line, up the middle, going to his right side. A good return for the senior Andy Martin out to the 40.
Yeah, it's another big return for the Westfield opponents. Saw it week 1, kick return to the house on the very first play. And again, against Basking Ridge, a lot of big returns. We didn't see it too much against Franklin, especially with Tyke Rhineberry in there, but also against Watchung Hills. Definitely nothing too much going on there, but right there, Andy Martin bringing it back to their own 40-yard line. Just great starting field position. And last drive, when Westfield's defense was out there, it looked like they were not their usual self. Just a lot of run plays right up the gut and a lot of pass plays to the flats. The secondary's really got to get that under control, and the D-line's really got to take over the line of scrimmage.
Man in motion as Sanborn drops back and passes complete. And a first down for the Farmers. Ifa Kunwa making up for his fumble. A nice catch and a nice run after the catch for the senior. Moving the chains for the Farmers.
And yeah, Mike, Andrew Sanborn, he has 580 passing yards coming into this game and also a 61% completion percentage, which is fantastic as a sophomore quarterback in high school, no less. And right there, just right on the money to Chuck Ifankunkwa. Excuse me if I mispronounce that again. But it's just so lethal for this offense.
Sanborn again looking for Ifa Kunwa. just off his left hand. Stevie Barden in the area. That would have been a big play, a bullet thrown by Andrew Sanborn right there.
Yeah, a little high. Not too much of a tip drill going on right there, as McDaniel was in the vicinity if the ball was tipped to pick it off. But 2nd down and 10 right now for the Farmers. We haven't seen too many run plays by the Farmers offense, and their leading rusher on the season is Michael Lucian, 194 rushing yards, no TDs, but 1 receiving TD. But just a lot of very pass-heavy offense, and the secondary's really got to hunker down.
They'll hand it off to Andy Martin. Picks up a few yards.
1 yard.
3rd and 9 for the Farmers.
From the 45.
Union had 2 weeks to prepare for this game, Chris. Coming off a tough loss on the road at Elizabeth back on September 22nd, 42-26, the final score. A talented Minutemen team that the Blue Devils will be seeing next week.
Very excited for that game.
Solution Stadium at Rutgers next Saturday at 1 o'clock. 3rd and 9, low snap. Sanborn gets it off quickly, but his receiver, Amir Robinson, the sophomore, was not turned around, and the ball sails out of bounds, and the Farmers will have to punt it away for the first time this evening.
Yeah, kind of a risky throw, too, as Will Kessler and Jordan Simpson coming in for Matt McIntyre in this game. They're both in the vicinity. And yeah, very risky play, but right now the Farmers will have to punt as Emmett Smith is back to return. And like Emmett Smith has done a fantastic job of returning kicks and punts this season. If you remember against, Franklin, there was that one punt that just bounced in front of him. He said, what the heck, picked it up and ran for another 20, 30 yards and got great field position.
And Smith will sort of do the same thing, picking it up, kind of dangerous right there. Brought down near the 10-yard line.
Yeah, almost muffed it just like Chuck Ifukunwa did. Finally got that one right. Ifukunwa, excuse me. But yeah, Westfield deep in a Farmers territory. And just like their second drive, pin back deep. Hopefully they can capitalize and get more points than they do right now. 7-0 with 9:41 to go in the second. But Hank Shapiro threw that one pick. Looks like he settled down a little bit. But Tim Allegro has really accelerated as this game has gone on.
Allegro with a burst of speed and just gets tripped up near the 20. He had one man to beat. It could have been a 90-yard score for the sophomore, who had a quiet week in terms of his standards compared to the ball games he's had against Ridge and Franklin, with over 200 yards against the Warriors and Warriors of Franklin, and 190 against Ridge.
Yeah, Mike, Allegro's longest run this year is 58 yards, so 90 definitely would have topped that one. So he gets the ball again and gets the first down for Westfield.
.45 to go here in quarter number 2. Westfield ahead 7-0. Blue Devils ranked 11th in the state and 16th in the tri-state. Those rankings courtesy of News 12 Varsity. They're number 17 in the state on NJ.com. 1st and 10. Shapiro looking high throw, but it's complete to the sophomore Colin Freer, who extends after that play to pick up some more yards.
Yeah, another good catch by Freer. We saw him last week getting more involved also with that really nice one-handed catch. But right there, yeah, a bullet from Hank Shapiro, a little over Freer's head, but able to extend up and get it. And right now, 2nd and short. Still 2 tight ends set out there with 2 wide receivers, Cassidy Smith and Allegro in the backfield.
2nd and 1 for Westfield.
2nd and 1, Allegro is hit quickly. So Blue Devils lose a couple yards on that second down play to make it 3rd and 4. Big 3rd down coming up. Emmett Smith lined up on the near side.
And it looks like they have Freer in the fullback position right now.
There's the pitch. Allegro with a nice cut. And then he's brought down. The senior captain, Acevedo, making the stop.
You can tell that Ifokunwa thought that Smith jumped, had the false start right there as you saw him looking at the ref. But it will bring up a punting situation for the Blue Devils with 4th and short, And, if they go for it, Mike, and don't get it, it's just going to be a heartbreaker as Farmers will have the ball deep in Westfield territory.
A short punt from Kessler. It'll bounce and be down at the 43-yard line. And a couple of Union players right there, Chris, they had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, they were looking around everywhere. Yep.
Backs turn. That could have been a similar situation what we saw in the first punt from the Farmers.
Yeah, Mike, throughout this game, we've just seen a lot of pass plays, not too many run plays. As we said before, just a very heavy passing team. And Sanborn, he's looked pretty good out there for a sophomore quarterback. And I'm pretty sure he looks a lot better than Hank Shapiro. Hank has that one interception. But Sanborn's just very consistent with his passes right now. And that's what's really keeping, this game pretty close as his defense is kind of struggling of containing the young quarterback.
They'll hand it off, a nice burst of speed, but brought down. Shea Elliott and Joe Sangiacomo, the seniors, combining for the tackle. Justin Peterman, the junior, on the carry for the Farmers as Aaron Myrick will check in. Number 12 in red, the slot receiver for the Farmers.
See a similar formation to what Westfield runs when they have McDaniel and Barden out there. 3 wide receivers spread out wide.
2nd and 8, 5.5 to go. Sanborn play action as the play is blown dead.
Appears to be a false start on the offense, so that's going to move the Farmers back 5 yards if the call stands.
False start on Union.
I'm like Joe Sangiacomo this season, who just had the previous tackle. 26 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 3 sacks. 2 of them coming last week against Watchung Hills. It was a hard transition for him to go from linebacker to DN, just 2, not completely different positions, but just 2 positions, different overall. Linebackers more, coverage, linemen, just going right in. But having a really good season, 3rd in tackles on the season. Just having a great senior campaign.
Sanborn quickly firing to Andy Martin, who couldn't bring it in. Incomplete to bring up 3rd down. With 4:52 remaining. Farmers on their own 40-yard line.
Like we were talking in Franklin, the game was going by pretty fast, especially in the first half. But right now, I'm guessing this one tops it. First quarter just went by like that. And right now, 4:52 to go. Second quarter still just cruising along. Just a lot of clock winding down for both teams. A lot of run plays, or if the ball is being passed, just staying in bounds most of the time. And the game is just really getting along close to the end of the first half.
Sanborn under pressure. Colin Freer, Rory McGovern in the backfield. Looking for Andy Martin, and they're going to rule this a catch.
Wow.
An acrobatic catch as Andy Martin sliding to the ground. According to the officials, able to bring it in and did not touch the ground.
And that was also a great scramble by Sanborn. You had Sangiacomo, Kessler, McGovern all coming at you, and he just was able to roll to the right side and find Martin coming back on getting the first down. And that's why Sanborn's starting quarterback of this team just has a lot of confidence of throwing the ball. And we said in the pregame interview, Mike, that he just has a lot of receivers to throw to, and Martin's one of them. And right there picks up the first down, a very difficult first down, if that. And right now they're in Westfield territory.
Martin will get the carry and brought down quickly. Shea Elliott on the stop, the senior linebacker.
It looks like this defense has really adjusted to the sweep. As before, there were a lot that got the Farmers first downs from 1st and 10, 2nd and long, and the sweep is really just converting for them. But right now, Shea Elliott just staying put, staying home, and able to stop Martin from getting a big gain, as the sweep has really been the majority of their run plays, more so in the first quarter than the second. But again, right there, able to stop it, and it's going to bring up a 2nd and 8 for the Farmers.
3 minutes to go here in the first half. Sanborn taking a shot down the field and right through the hands of the senior Stevie Barden. Almost comes away with the interception.
Yeah, you don't see that too often. Stevie Barden, I believe, had 2 interceptions last year, and right there could have his first of this year. So it goes right through the hands. You see him a lot on offense, catches everything thrown his way, but right there, just not able to capitalize on it. As will be a 3rd and 8. But, you know, Mike, we know Stevie. You know, if there's a bad play on the field and it's because of him, he's going to bounce right back and get to it. And that's why, you know, he's been playing varsity 2 years. Last year, you know, if he missed a tackle or something like that, bounced right back and was able to convert on the next play, get the big stop. And right now, 3rd and 8. Let's see if he can do that again.
Three receivers lined up to Sanborn's left, one on his right. One-on-one coverage. Looking for Andy Martin. Stevie Barden on the coverage, but that time Sanborn too much air on it. About 10 yards in front of Andy Martin.
Yeah, looked a little high as well. And Emmett Smith will be back to return. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, he played this one safe, called for a fair catch. Wouldn't want to risk anything, as, you know, if he did muff it and the Farmers return, they get it in much better territory around Westfield's 15. But also, too, the ball could go into the end zone for a touchback, and Westfield get the start with the ball at the 20, not the 25, not the NFL yet.
Sanborn also the punter for this Union team, as Emmett Smith will take the fair catch right at the 20-yard line. So a 2-minute drill, a 2.5-minute drill for this Westfield offense with 2 timeouts remaining and 80 yards to go. It's been a while since we've seen Aiden Bolin actually kick a field goal.
Yep.
Chris. I think it might be since Linden, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, I remember against Basking Ridge, he had that that prolonged extra point attempt as there was a penalty on the offense, and he missed that. I don't think there has been an actual field goal attempt of this entire season. As we saw last year, Mike Moriarty was kicking field goals left and right.
2 for 2 on the year.
Oh, 2 field goals? Okay.
There goes Allegro breaking free, picking up the first down. Had that one against Linden.
Yeah. And the Westfield is going to be going into the no-huddle offense as they have Stevie Barden, Adam McDaniel back out there, so you definitely know they want to get down the field in a hurry, and with the speed of those receivers, it's not going to be that difficult.
A wide open receiver down the field. Incomplete.
Looked like Jason Cassidy out there, not Stevie Barden, Mike. So with 1:58 to go, looks like Westfield's going to have to leave that receiving group out there, because right there, if they throw that again, it's most likely going to be caught.
Cassidy. And he was wide open.
Yeah, no one else. The defender was in the wind. Yep.
From the Union defense, Camille Lewis, and that secondary for the Farmers had no idea where Cassidy was as a penalty marker on the field before the snap. And that's a huge missed opportunity, Chris, for Westfield.
Yeah, if he caught that, he was in stride and there was no one else around him, would have been a definite touchdown. But right there, with this penalty, I believe it is on Westfield. It's going to bring him back a little bit, make it 2nd and 15. And now Stevie Barden is checking in for Jason Cassidy.
After the false start, the offense will lose 5 yards here. 1:52 to go. A 2nd and 15 for the Blue Devils. Adam McDaniel is checked in on the bottom of your screen, number 2 in white. Emmett Smith in the slot. And Shapiro's pass is batted at the line of the scrimmage. Chauncey Caffey, the senior, getting his right hand on that one.
And if Westfield doesn't pick up the first down but does keep the ball in play, Union is going to call a timeout. Won't have to if the ball does go out of bounds before the first down marker. And with Will Kessler's last punt being a high one, you know, it's been kind of iffy this season. His first punt ever was a definite boot, 60-plus yards with the roll. But, you know, his average this season is around 40, 50 yards. And this Union team, just a very pass-heavy team, there's no doubt they're going to be throwing the ball up and down the field if they have time left on the clock. As that ball is thrown incomplete, intended for Emmett Smith, and that's going to bring out the Westfield punt unit.
So 1:39 to go, and just a sloppy first half for both of these teams, Chris. We saw the interception from Shapiro that you didn't get to see on your camera. It's due to some technical difficulties there. And then the muff punt return from Ifakuna for the Farmers, as Kessler will send this punt to the 40-yard line. Fair caught, taken by Trey Noel Singh. Excuse me.
Christian Morel on the fair catch.
So yeah, 1:31 to go here in the first half. Farmers with good field position at their own 40-yard line. And with Sanborn throwing the ball up and down the field already this game, like, they got to just keep going to that, just get those quick outs. And they still have all 3 timeouts left, so if they just want to take a shot over the middle, get the bigger gain, they definitely have an opportunity to do that.
Clock ticking, under a minute and a half to go. Sanborn has time to throw. Looking for his open receiver. Ifa Kunwa open down the near sideline. Stevie Barton and Adam McDaniel.
It did look like Ifa Kunwa did have Barton beat by a couple steps there. But nevertheless, Sanborn does miss a good opportunity by throwing it out of bounds. And with 2nd and 10 to go, with 1:20 here in the first half, they just got to keep going, because that was looked like a good ball for the first couple seconds, but a little overthrown by Sanborn. But I would just keep sticking with it, as he has looked pretty good all game.
Well, the matchup to watch is right there on the bottom of your screen. Number 1 versus number 1. Ifa Wakunwa versus Stevie Barton. Sanborn looking there again, had his eyes on his favorite target, instead scrambles and picks up the first down and more down at the Westfield 44. And the Farmers, Coach Luke Grasso Jr. will call his first timeout of the half with 70 seconds remaining. The Farmers trailing by 7, but this offense getting a little momentum, Chris.
Yeah, Mike, that's the dual threatness of Andrew Sanborn. He has 58 rushing yards on the season with 1 TD, and right there, just no one open, just tucks it and runs and picks up a solid 15, 20-yard gain. And right now in Westfield territory, with 1:10 to go here in the first half, it looks like they have a lot of opportunities to capitalize. We saw that one overthrown ball to Ifa Kunwa, but if he can just settle down and just find the receivers, he can definitely tie this game up before the half.
And Chris, kind of similar game to what we saw against Franklin in that first half. Westfield looking a little lackadaisical in the first half, and they're going to need to wake up in the second half if they want to win this ball game.
Yeah, the D-line, like, it looks like it's just, not playing too much right there, because we see Jake Falabella get through every week. Same thing with Rory McGovern, Joe Sangiacomo. Right now, they're just really being detained by this offensive line.
And Sanborn's pass is incomplete on the far sideline. Andy Martin tried to make a diving catch, but ran out of real estate.
Still over a minute to go in the first half. Incomplete pass made it 2nd and 10. And right now we see Colin Freer check back into the game at the end. We saw that a lot last week. Did have 2 sacks, and I believe he did have 1 sack, and did have a controversial pump block, but nevertheless in there at the end. And if he can be the dual threat player on offense and defense the next couple of years, that's what Westfield can really need or use.
Sanborn looking for Ifa Wacuna. Incomplete. He couldn't bring it down as he was falling to the ground, lost control of the football. Stevie Barden in the area, and that's the matchup to watch, as I mentioned earlier, Chris. They are going head-to-head, and Sanborn continues to take shots and challenge Stevie Barden.
Well, when you have a player like Ifa Wacuna, who has over 190 receiving yards on the season, and a lockdown defender like Stevie Barden, it's kind of like the Odell-Josh Norman matchup, just going at it all game long. Nothing too physical out there, just great competition all the way around. And we're probably going to be seeing that the rest of the game, as it looks like Ifa Wacuna is Sanborn's favorite receiver so far in this game.
And there he is again, this time getting both feet in bounds for the completion. Nice grab by the senior. Only need 1 foot in high school and college, but dragging both feet. Right there was Chuck Ifa Wacuna. With 35 seconds to go. Down the field, and that ball is caught. An acrobatic catch made by Andy Martin.
And Farmers are getting to the line quickly, but looks like it'll be a timeout called by the Farmers. And just another great grab by Martin. And right now, just in the, 1st and goal at Westfield's 8-yard line. This is a big time to capitalize. If they can go into the half tied, it's going to be a really close one to the end of this game.
Great catch from Martin. Those have been the top 2 threats all night long. Ifa Wacuna and Martin, both seniors. Both 6 foot, 170 pounds. And Andrew Sanborn has had a fine first half, Chris, and he's looked really comfortable under center, dropping back, and he's got a heck of an arm, and we're seeing why he's starting as just a sophomore.
Yeah, he's able to elude the pressure, too. We've seen a couple of Westfield's linebackers, Shea Elliott, Drew Ortiz, get in there along with these DNs as well. He's able to elude the pressure, scramble right, left, or even just tuck and run right up the middle. But if he also has these 3 just threats at wide receiver to throw to, and that's why that this Farmers offense is marching down the field. Started at their own 40, 1st and goal for Union right now with 27 seconds to go in the first half.
Sanborn dropping back. He's going to run with it to his left, able to break a few defenders, and then brought down by Adam McDaniel.
Yeah, so
the
again,
senior safety comes up with a stop, 18 seconds remaining, and another timeout is called by Union.
Again, Sanborn senses the pressure and is able to tuck and run with it, but Adam McDaniel coming up with a huge stop right there. If Sanborn got by him, it looked like he was going to score a touchdown. At 18 seconds to go, Union, I believe, has no timeouts remaining. So if they go for it right now and don't convert, they got to get to the line, spike the ball, and just hopefully get their field goal unit out there, or if they want to try to tie it up before the half.
And again, on that first offensive drive for the Farmers after Michael Lucian came up with the interception, they had a 4th and 4 on the 14-yard line. They decided to go for it, and it resulted in an incomplete pass, turnover on downs. They could have just kicked a simple 31-yard field goal and only been trailing by 4 right now. Might have altered their decision if they don't convert here on 2nd down. 18 seconds remaining. Sanborn taking a shot to the end zone, overthrown intended for Aaron Myrick, but there is a penalty marker in the end zone, and that is going to be a questionable call, Chris. I believe they're going to say it was defensive pass interference.
Yeah, McDaniel, it didn't look like there was too much going on right there. McDaniel did have an armbar on him, but he was facing the right way. And it did look like Martin was doing the same thing, just going up for the ball and right there, but questionable call against the Westfield defense. And
defensive holding. Intended receiver was sophomore Aaron Myrick, number 12. So remains second down. And the Farmers move up half the distance to the goal.
Again, if they can't convert right now and the ball stays in play on the field, it's going to be tough because right now they're just eliminated 7 seconds from the clock. But right now, you know, if Sanborn can just get it to one of his receivers on a quick slant or a fade perhaps, it can really be a different ball game going into the first half.
Ball on the 5-yard line. 2 receivers, 1 man in the backfield. Sanborn play action, and Jake Dayon with the deflection. A big stop from the senior.
Yeah, Jake Dayon might not be the tallest guy out there, but definitely using his vertical to get up there and swat that ball down, saving Westfield's defense right there, and could have given up a touchdown. But Jake Dayon, the hero on that play, and it brings up a 3rd and goal for the Farmers with 5 seconds to go in the first half.
And again, Luke Rosso Jr. is going to trust his offense. And with just 5 seconds remaining, no timeouts, 3rd and 5, they are going to go for it. Well, they're going to keep the offense out there. With just 5 seconds remaining in the first half, Sanborn looking in the end zone, and it is complete for a touchdown. The senior, Andy Martin, to the right side of the end zone, beats his defender as time expires in the first half, and the Farmers will tie this game as long as they can convert this extra point attempt.
And Mike Martin, he took control of the inexperienced corner. I believe it's Jordan Simpson out there. Usually we see McIntyre out there, but injured this week, it's Simpson.
Concussion for the junior Matt McIntyre. And the extra point is no good. The senior Max Cuenca cannot hit the PAT, so we are not tied. The Blue Devils lead at 7-6 here in Union. A very sloppy first half from both sides, Chris.
Yeah, Mike, for Westfield, they got to get the run game going, and they just got to get the whole offense going. Hank Shapiro, 1 interception, and there was that one big play to Jason Cassett late in the second quarter. They had to convert on that. If he caught that, Westfield could be up 14-6 instead of 7-6. And for the Farmers, Sanborn's looking absolutely fantastic out there. He's hitting his receivers, and it's just a defensive matchup between Stevie Barden and Chuck Ifokuana.
So don't go anywhere, folks. We have an incredible ball game, a 29-game win streak on the line here in Union for the Westfield Blue Devils. They lead at 7-6 at the end of the first half. Second half coming right up here on BD TV.
And for halftime entertainment.
So welcome back, everybody, here to Harry Cook Jr. Memorial Field at Union High School. Michael Leniart alongside Chris Witzel. Want to thank our camera woman, Gianna Circa, for doing an excellent job filming today. But the Westfield Blue Devils in some trouble, only leading by 1 as we get this second half started. The kickoff rolls to the 12-yard line where it's returned cross field. A nice return out to the 23.
Looked like a little bit of a botch kick from Kessler, almost went out of bounds. Nevertheless, Farmers get the ball, decent field position at their own 25-yard line.
The sophomore Christian Morell, 5'10", 165 pounds, getting his hands on the football for the first time tonight. And Chris, as we kept mentioning in that first half, a sloppy 24 minutes of football for both of these teams. And we saw a lot of missed opportunities on both sides of the football going for Westfield. That second play of the game, the interception, and then we saw Jason Cassett, a wide open, could have been 80-yard touchdown, but he can't make the catch.
And Mike, I talked to Jake Valavera before this game. I asked him, what does the defense have to do to keep being superb, especially playing against a team like Union? He says D-line continues to chase QB, win the line of scrimmage, and secondary continues to stop big plays. The D-line hasn't really won the line of scrimmage tonight. It's kind of been more mutual as there hasn't been too many big run plays. You know, Sanborn's been scrambling a little bit, but other than that, nothing too much. And the defensive back, Stevie Barton's been locked down with star receiver of the Farmers, Chuck Ifuakuna. But other than that, you know, the Farmers really been marching. Sanborn's been looking absolutely superb. And Hank Shapiro on this Westfield offense has got to keep going. As you said before, Jason Cassett dropped that wide open ball. He's got to make up for that to make sure Westfield has a steady lead.
Sanborn looking for Martin, who makes the catch at the Westfield 40. Andy Martin backpedaling and making an incredible reception for a huge gain to get things started here in quarter number 3 for Union. And all of a sudden, the Farmers have all the momentum as they headed into the half. A risky choice, a gutsy choice by head coach Lou Grasso Jr. Electing to keep his offense out there on third down with just 5 seconds remaining, and it pays off. They get Andy Martin on the fade route in the corner of the end zone. We saw earlier in the ballgame, Chris, that they decided to keep the offense out there, and it backfired. So it doesn't seem like they have too much confidence in their senior kicker, because he did miss that extra point also, Chris.
And Mike, going back to that big play to Martin, Stevie Barton after play, it looked like he was holding his hamstring and knee area. I'm not sure if it's a substantial injury or not, but right now Stevie Barton isn't playing the way that we're used to seeing him. And if he comes out of the game for any situation, what happened before with Cass is Stevie Barton was supposed to come in the game. If Stevie was in, probable touchdown, but right now Stevie just looking a little not like himself out there, but still staying in this game. But nevertheless, Martin did get a huge gain on the play. And you got to worry for Barton right now if he is good or not.
Sanborn looking for Martin in the end zone. Ball is caught out of bounds. An incredible catch from Martin. He has made some spectacular grabs, but unable to drag just 1 foot in that end zone. And Martin kind of Sanborn, perfect spiral, but he kind of led Martin to the outside of the end zone. Not much he could do. He did everything he could.
Yeah, most of the plays have been going to the sideline because, you know, you have Adam McDaniel, the lone safety over the middle. Anything over there potentially getting caught or a big hit on the receiver. You just got to try to keep him safe but also not give the ball up. A lot of big plays going to the sideline. You know, Martin again, and in the first half, a lot of big plays that Sanborn has thrown mostly to the sideline.
A run up the middle for the Farmers, picking up a couple yards, is the junior Justin Peterman, number 6.
Doesn't look like a first down. Doesn't look like it's a first down, but Mike, if Westfield can stop the Union Farmers offense right now, that's a huge stop because they had a huge all this momentum going down the field, and if they stop them, this Westfield offense, who we have to see pick up the pace, and they have to get down the field, make this a 2-possession game, or excuse me, a 1-possession game. To the
on
max.
4th and 1 up the middle, it is gonna be close. Westfield's defense saying they're short. Union saying they got it. As we await this call from the official, very close. A timeout is taken, and they're gonna have to bring out the chains. The ball is down at the about 27-yard line. Just where that first down marker is, Chris.
Looks like he got it.
And I believe the Farmers did get it. We're about to find out right now.
And it's closer than we thought, Mike. And it is Westfield football. How about that? We thought it was a first down, Huge stop by this Westfield defense, and Westfield takes over on downs. Wow, tables really turned on that play. It looked like from the booth that it was a definite first down.
So with 8.5 to play here in the third quarter, the Westfield offense will come onto the field, led by the sophomore QB and sophomore halfback, Hank Shapiro and Tim Allegro. Emmett Smith lined up on the slot on the bottom of your screen. Jason Cassett, number 3 on the bottom of your screen. And that handoff, Shapiro kept his hands on that pole for a long time before he let go of it and gave it to Allegro.
And in the game right now, at wide receiver is Griffin Rooney. Looks like he is in that 3 wide receiver set with Cassett and Smith, excuse me. It's probably because Asarno wants to give McDaniel and Barden a rest. They were on the field a long time, a lot of big pass plays, and they have been a lot on offense.
Well, that is very interesting, Chris. Rooney, just a sophomore, spent last season at Seton Hall Prep. Allegro to the left, gets the first down near the 43. A big run from the sophomore.
Hey, you just got to keep feeding Allegro. I mean, he's got to have a lot of big runs tonight, and right there just gets the first down, a much-needed first down. But looks like he's holding on to that right quad. Banged up on the play, and Wandre House, the senior, coming into this game. Haven't seen too much of House much this season. He was injured the first couple of games. Played a little bit last week and getting his first action here right now.
Yeah, we knew that Allegro was going to take over the starting spot, Chris, as House gets this carry and quickly brought down, picks up a few yards. We knew after back-to-back 200-yard performances that the starting job was Tim Allegro's, but I think both of us thought that we would see a lot more of Wandre House. We've rarely seen him these past 2 weeks. Maybe get him on some screen plays using his speed, get him some third down carries. But Wandre House is rarely getting used, it seems like, in these 2 weeks, unless in a situation like this where you see Tim Allegro go down with a minor injury.
And he's got to be used more. I mean, his speed is just a must-have on this offense.
There's a little shovel pass to the junior Tommy Norris. Picks up a few yards, making it 3rd and short, about 3rd and 4. Ball right on the 50-yard line for the Westfield offense.
And Mike, still no sign of Stevie Barden or Adam McDaniel out there. Still a 3 wide receiver set with Cassett, Smith, and Rooney. But, you know, a 3rd and about 4 for the Westfield offense. It's a big – they have to convert to keep getting the ball down the field and just get a bigger lead. But right now, a lot of not necessarily inexperience, but not, you know, the weapons that Westfield usually has on this team.
And right there, that should have been an encroachment, but then no call was made. So then Westfield's offensive line, they jerked back, thinking the officials would see the encroachment.
But they're going to call it on the offense, Mike, a false start. It looked like a neutral zone infraction at first, very surprising. And
yeah, as I was saying,
I think it's a pretty bad call, or very controversial at the least.
The right end for Union clearly jumped off sides. The official missed it. So then Westfield's offensive line, they jerk back trying to make the officials see it, but instead they call Westfield on the false start. So the Blue Devils lose 5 yards to make it 3rd and 9, as that clock just flying by, as it seems like it has all night. 5.5 to go. 3rd and 9. Shapiro looking for Emmett Smith, and a dangerous throw as Andy Martin, who's been the MVP tonight for this Farmer team, he jumped up in front of that pass from Shapiro and almost took it back to the house. Unable to bring it in, though. And Will Kessler will come out for the Blue Devils to punt this one away.
Yeah, very surprising not seeing Barden or McDaniel out there, at least one of them, because that's a play you need to get a first down on. And right now, Will Kessler back to punt. He just got to kick it, you know, obviously as hard as he can, because right now the Farmers have gotten decent field position the past couple of times, and another high punt by Kessler. But gets
Union
the bounce.
Will let it bounce, and it'll go inside the 10, down at the 9-yard line by Barden. An excellent punt from Will Kessler. And Chris, I think number 25 for Union, the sophomore Christian Morel, wishes he probably took a fair catch because that thing bounced a good 15 yards.
And there's a flag on the play, so if it is against Union, half the distance to the goal, and it's going to be around the 5-yard line or so. Westfield has one safety this season, courtesy of Noah Levy. And right now, it looks like Benny Bontempo is getting into the game. Getting off the field right now. It looked like he was coming into the game. But still, Westfield has pinned the Farmers very deep into their territory. And, you know, Westfield, they got to convert. If they stop them right here, excellent field position. We keep saying this all the time. Pin their defenders back deep. Force them to punt, get the ball around the 50-yard line, and convert with great field positioning. But right now, the way that these defensive backs for Westfield have been playing, Stevie Barden, you know, not necessarily getting burnt, but he just hasn't looked like himself out there. Has had a couple of nice pass deflections, but before with the pass to Martin, you know, he's usually coming up and playing solid D on that ball. And Simpson's still out there along with him at cornerback.
So the Farmers backed up way in their own end zone. A big throw from Sanborn, incomplete. Adam McDaniel on the coverage for Westfield.
And what looked like that Ifa Wakuna was the go-to receiver in the first half. It looks like Martin is for the second half. That's 3 plays already thrown to Martin. 1 has been completed. 2 have been either dropped or out of bounds. And 2nd and 10 for the Farmers. You just got to get some yards right here. Get it out near from where the end zone is. Gets a couple, 3-4 yards just to make sure you have a little bit of breathing room. Because right now, you know, a drop back and a sack, most likely a turnover or safety. And it's very dangerous waters for the Farmers as 3 receivers are spread out wide.
A 2nd and 10 for Union. Ball's on their own 5-yard line. Under 5 minutes to play. And a run up the middle.
That was
and Chris, that clock started running before the snap even got off, and it was an incomplete pass. About 5 seconds went off that clock.
I don't know who's doing the clock, but yeah, might be why the game's going by so fast. It's just, you know, it's 4:33.
It was an incomplete pass.
Yeah, exactly.
And the snap wasn't even off yet. And clock
4:33 to 4:25 to go in the 3rd quarter, and it feels like we've only been here an hour.
Yeah, the first half only took about 40 minutes.
Yep.
Sanborn, play action. Sanji Como was in the backfield. Pass is complete. Martin breaks loose. And finally brought down at the 35. Jake Valabera making the stop along with some help from McDaniel, but a great catch from Andy Martin, the senior. Not only was it difficult to just make the catch, then somehow breaks the tackle and bounces off 2 defenders and picks up an extra 15 yards after that.
And it looks like Stevie Bard, he's walking very gingerly, walking with a limp, and if he goes down, I don't know who's the next option for Westfield, as there's an official timeout on the field.
.346 remaining here at Union High School.
Looks like someone on the sideline appears to be hurt after that tackle.
The 4-0 Westfield Blue Devils in the midst of their state-long 29-game winning streak, a streak that dates back to November of 2014, that Thanksgiving Day win over Plainfield. Back-to-back undefeated seasons and state championship victories over the Bridgewater Raritan Panthers. They've been tested early and often this year, Chris. Linden gave them a run for their money in week 1. As Andy Martin was the injured Farmer, number 2 in red, has had a tremendous ball game.
Yeah, and if he goes down, it's like Stevie Barden going down. 2 very important factors to this team, and just 2, you know, go-getters. I mean, the guys go after everything. Stevie Barden doesn't give up on the play, and Martin has had some unbelievable catches here tonight, and that one on the previous play. He sits this play out after he was down on the sideline. And number 7 checked in, Sean Villard, for him at wide receiver.
A run up the middle to the right, I should say, for Justin Peterman. It's been the secondary back all night for the Farmers. It's picked up some nice yardage.
And Mike, this Farmers offensive line knows what they're doing. If it's a run to the right side, they're going to double team the defensive end, and it just gives Peterman an open lane to the outside. Sure takes away a blocker, but it picks up, a couple extra yards than it would be if he had to get by Valabera, who looks like double teamed all night. Him and Sanji Como, who have been just so good at getting through the defensive line, have been held in check along with McGovern and Levy. We haven't seen one sack tonight. It's because of how Sanborn is just easy to escape the pocket and how the ball just leaves so quickly from his hand.
2nd and 4. That pass is incomplete. Intended for Ifo Acuna, just a little high for the senior receiver, who's sort of been shut down, Chris, here in this third quarter.
And it's surprising because he's going up against Jordan Simpson, no disrespect, but when you have an inexperienced cornerback like that compared to Stevie Barden, you might want to go after that a little bit more, especially with Ifo Acuna, who was, the go-to guy in the first half. But right now, a 3rd and about 5 here for the Farmers with 4 receivers spread out wide. It's, again, a big play for Westfield. They stop him. It's most likely the Farmers will punt, being, in their own territory.
Sanborn to his right, pass complete. Good for the first down. It's Sean Villar, the senior, with his first reception.
Barden, again, limping after the play. And it looks like he's in pain. I don't understand why he just won't go down, because you can see him backpedaling. He's just limping on that right leg. But again, nevertheless, there was just too much cushion on the pass play as Villard picks up the first down.
If you're just joining us, Westfield still leads it just 7-6. Stevie Barden had the first touchdown of the game off of Hank Shapiro's throw, a slant route. That was the first play of the game, first play of the second quarter. And that's a huge gain. It's Aaron Myrick, the sophomore, with a huge reception down the field. And things are starting to not look good for Westfield, Chris.
Yeah, Mike, 30-game win streak on the line. That is a lot of pressure on this team just to make that happen. But right now, Sanborn just picking apart this defense, sending guys in motion left and right. And when you have not a broken down defensive core right now, but an injured defensive back in Stevie Barden, it's hard to keep up with all of them. And Sanborn just finds Myrick over the middle for another big gain.
Sanborn scrambling to the sideline, and he'll wisely run out of bounds.
Yeah, a couple yards lost on that play, but better than throwing it up and possibly getting it intercepted. But again, Mike, if Westfield can stop them right here, the Farmers, as you said before, they don't have too much confidence in their kicker. Could have kicked the field goal earlier in this game to have a lead right now, but didn't, and he also missed the extra point beforehand. So if Westfield's they got to step up. This D-line has got to penetrate this offensive line. These linebackers have got to make sure they keep everyone in check, and this defensive group has got to limit these receivers. It's been difficult all night for them to do that, but right now, late in the third quarter, they got to step up and make it happen.
Breaking free is Michael Lucian. Spinning, breaks a few tackles.
So it makes it a 3rd and long for the Farmers, and right now this Westfield secondary has got to step up. Stevie Barden's still out there limping around, and I hope the kid's okay. One of the best players on this team, good kid as well, and just puts it all out on the line for Westfield.
3rd and 10 for this Union offense. Ball on the 23-yard line. Farmers just trailing by 1, but they've shown they do not trust their kicker. Sanborn buying time, scrambling, looking, end zone. Adam McDaniel gets a couple fingertips on it, intended for Myrick.
Yeah, great defensive stop there by McDaniel. It brings up a 4th down for the Farmers, and it looks like they're going to go for it as Colin Frears checking in the game for Jordan Barham. And right there, Adam McDaniel, just absolutely phenomenal defensive stop. Just gets as many fingertips as he could on as possible. and is able to deflect the ball. 4th down and about 11 for the Farmers, and right now this Westfield D has got to make the stop of the game, get the ball back, go into the 4th quarter with the ball and still with the lead, and they just got to make sure Allegro gets going and Shapiro hits his receivers.
Yeah, and Chris, if Union has a reliable field goal kicker, this is a whole new ball game, because this is going to be the second time now.
Like Bolin too, he's been amazing all year, just missed 1 extra point because of it was because of a penalty, as it looks like the Farmers are going to call a timeout. And Grasso does not look happy.
With 26 seconds remaining in quarter number 3. We will stay with you here on BDTV. We'll take a break after the 3rd quarter. Union trailing by 1, hanging in there with the 29-game win streak of the Westfield Blue Devils. Next week, the Farmers will travel to Franklin on Friday night to take on the Warriors. That should be a game that Union wins. They got a big game on October 20th right here, another Friday night against Ridge. Red Devils have been struggling this year.
Yeah, quarterback went down against Westfield, Brennan Radice.
And then the Blue Devils, as we said earlier, they take on Elizabeth at High Point Solutions Stadium in New Brunswick, in Piscataway, I should say, next Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock.
Hopefully be on the call for that one.
4th and 10 for Andrew Sanborn. Lou Grasso just had a long time to talk it over with his young sophomore QB.
Probably one of the biggest plays of the game.
Ball on the 23-yard line. Sanborn dropping back. 4th and 10 over the middle. And it is incomplete. A bullet of a throw tipped up by the Blue Devils. And almost, Chris, I hesitated to say incomplete because number 12, Aaron Myrick, he made a diving, leaping attempt
almost got
at the end of that to make what would have been a sensational catch.
I was holding my breath on that one.
Intended receiver, though, just too hard of a pass.
Yeah, looked like it bounced right off his shoulder pads, right in the chest.
As a much-needed stop from the defensive side of the football for the Blue Devils. 19 ticks on the clock in quarter number 3. Shapiro, a little floater over the middle. Tommy Norris, the junior tight end, making a big catch.
Absolutely, 20-yard gain on the catch. Tommy Norris, biggest play probably of the game for Westfield other than Stevie Barton's touchdown. But right there, that just built up confidence for Westfield. And right now with that play, they should be marching on the field. They should be cruising. They should be feeding Tim Allegro the ball, get the run game going. And Hank Shapiro, that was a beautiful floater right over the middle of the field. And Norris just able to bring it in as I believe a timeout is called by the Blue Devils.
Quarter number 3 comes to an end.
End of 3rd quarter.
No score here in the 3rd quarter. So the Blue Devils still lead it 7-6. A very entertaining Week 5 game here at Union High School. A 29-game win streak on the line. 4th quarter coming right up on BDTV.
That wasn't me who was going up.
Not that one time, but like no, anytime you go, like you stop so loud.
Oh, like, I got it.
Yeah, that's how I was trying to show you.
Dude, I'm just the emotion.
Tell her I'll do the 3, 2, 1.
The next game will be televised on Verizon Fios.
Back here to Union High School. A big completion to Tommy Norris gets Westfield on the 49. 1 quarter of football remaining as Westfield tries to make it 30 in a row. Colin Freer in motion. There's the pitch. Allegro on the far side. Not much room to go.
But hey, that's a good play call. You want to mix up the where the ball is going. Tim Allegro's running it right up the gut the whole night. Bounce to the outside, and usually we see him break that one, but right there, just a good tackle by the cornerback for the Farmers. I believe it was Martin on the tackle. Or no, excuse me, number 22, Camille Lewis. And looks like Tim Allegro was again shooken up on the play. So Wandre House back in the backfield. And Mike, still surprising we don't see McDaniel or Barton out there. But again, Barton did look like he was limping a lot out there playing defensive back.
There's Wandre House on the carry. Picks up 5 yards down to the 46 of Union. So now is where, Chris, you want to see that Westfield run off some clock. Both teams, Westfield with 3 timeouts, Union with 2. They burned one at the end of quarter number 3. Under 11 to play. And obviously, Chris, Westfield just wants to obviously score, but if they can't score, just pin Union back as far as they can, because the Farmers have shown that the only way they're going to score is by getting in the end zone. They're not going to attempt a field goal.
And right there, the Farmers called timeout, and Grasso, again, did not look happy. I believe there were 12 men, 13 at one point, and 12 when he called the timeout. So, again,
now they're just down to 1 timeout.
That's a big, and that's
10
going to come up
minutes
big.
and 47 seconds remaining.
And the reason that they got down the field and scored the last-second touchdown in the first half was because they had all 3 timeouts. But right there, only having 1 left in this game, if it was the same situation, probably wouldn't be the same outcome as it was before. But nevertheless, 10:47 to go here in the 4th quarter. And this 30-game win streak on the line for Westfield, only winning by 1, score of 7-6. And brings up a 3rd and 5. And looks like Wandre House still in the game for Tim Allegro. And it looks like Westfield's running with trips left and Tommy Norris, the lone receiver, on the bottom of the screen.
Wandre House with the carry, spinning and getting a couple yards.
And that's going to bring up a 4th down, and it looks like, I'm not sure if they're bringing the punt team out there or not. It looks like they're going to keep the offense on. Never mind. Looks like the punt team will come on. Just maybe try to run down the clock a little bit, as there's still a lot of time in this ball game, 10-20 to go. But Westfield try to take any second off the clock as possible. As many as they can.
And if any time we were to see a fake punt, possibly here.
I think it's too close to midfield. Just if it was maybe 5 yards closer, possibility. But Kessler, very inexperienced punter, but gets this one away with a great kick.
And that will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So Andrew Sanborn, the sophomore, trying to make history here, has 10 minutes, 80 yards to go with 1 timeout, trying to break this 29-game win streak, and it's going to come down to this Union offense, Chris.
Yeah, the Union offense has looked really good all night, especially, only having 6 points, but marching down the field every time and just putting this Westfield defense really on its heels, as Stevie Barden out there again. Looks like he's still hurt, and he's just getting beat on most plays as of now. But the D-line, they got to do something. They got to get through, and they got to get to Sanborn. If they do that, it can take away confidence, and it can win them the game.
Yeah, credit the offensive line for Union. They've been rock solid protecting Sanborn. Carry up the middle for Peterman.
So it brings up 2nd and 7.
And Chris, if you're for the Westfield secondary, locate Chuck Ifewakuna and locate Andy Martin. He's had a sensational game, over 100
Both
yards
receivers are having unreal games.
Over 100 yards of receiving for Martin and the touchdown. 9:10 to go.
It looks like Ifewakuna lined up with Barden and Martin, other side with McDaniel.
2nd down, 3 receivers. Sanborn looking, and pass is complete.
Wow.
It's Andy Martin, the senior, getting another reception, having an incredible ball game.
And it was Jordan Simpson over at cornerback, not Adam McDaniel. McDaniel is at safety. But again, Jordan Simpson, having him at corner, not too experienced. It was good coverage, but Martin just makes another great catch. And that's been the story all night. Just Martin coming up with unreal catches, especially when he's been covered pretty tightly. And not a 1st down, brings up a 3rd and inches for the Farmers. And
coming into the game,
box
Martin
is stacked.
as the Farmers keep it on the ground and they pick up the first down. They're on 3rd and short. Coming into the ball game, Chris, Martin only had 152 yards receiving in 3 games. By the end of the night, that's going to be doubled. Also had 94 yards of rushing coming into the night. 5 total touchdowns, 3 receiving, 2 on the ground for the multi-talented Andy Martin.
And yeah, the Farmers are taking a lot of time off this clock. They want to try to get there as fast as they can and score, because if they don't get the ball back, Westfield's going to try to sit on it, and with Farmers only having 1 timeout left, it's just a whole different ball game if they had all of them.
Sanborn, pass is complete to Chuck Ifowakuna. Down at the 45-yard line. A fresh set of downs for the Farmers. And this, Chris, the most contested ball game we've seen this year. And right now, Westfield's in some trouble.
Yeah, and it looks like they switched McDaniel and Barden. McDaniel now a corner. But Barden, he's the last line of defense out there at safety, and you have to have a lot of speed. But with him being injured, it's another questionable call by DeSarno. But right now, they just got to apply the pressure to these receivers. Just a lot of cushion for them.
Pass is complete, and Jake Dayon with an incredible tackle, sending Mitchell Lucian to the ground. And that was my mistake. It's Mitchell Lucian, not Michael, who had that interception earlier and a couple other nice plays. But great tackle there from Dayon of Westfield.
I mean, we saw before that that pass deflection kept Farmers out of the end zone for one more play. Right there, another great tackle. And it's really helping Westfield. It's building confidence, getting everyone on the sideline hyped. There hasn't been one play tonight except for Barden's touchdown that's really, sparked that Westfield sideline, and that might have been the thing that they need.
Sanborn looking down the field, and he overthrows Andy Martin. And the way this drive is going, Chris, a methodical, slow drive for the Farmers. It could end up being the final drive of the game. The clock does stop now after the incomplete pass. 6:10 to go. 3rd and 8. Ball is on the Westfield. Ball on the Union 45.
And it did look like Martin beat Simpson on a go route, but
47. Sorry.
but the ball was thrown in front of Martin, and Barden was also right there. I'm surprised he didn't go after it. Maybe that could have been too far out in front of him. But right now, 3rd and 8, another big play for the Farmers, because if they don't convert, possibility for a punt, and Westfield can get the ball back. And Farmers, again, only have 1 timeout. It's not that if Westfield goes 3 and out, they can call a timeout in every single play.
Sanborn delivering a bullet right at the Westfield 45, right at that first down marker.
And it looks like it
was Andy Martin again making a big-time catch, but he is slow to get up. Along with the cornerback for Westfield on that play.
It was Adam McDaniel on the coverage.
Daniel also shaking up. They're going to bring out the chains, an official timeout. First down marker is right at that 45.
For a measurement. Hold at the 45-yard line of Westfield. Very close.
Don't really see too many. We haven't really seen this at all season. And I'm not sure what the call is exactly.
Short by about 2 inches.
So brings up 4th and inches. Just a couple of inches that the Farmers need. And, of course, they're going to go for it here, Chris. At the 45-yard line of Westfield. A huge play, really. Sort of the ball game. If Westfield gets a stop, Union does not have a good chance to win this game.
No, because they get the ball back. Westfield, they just got to get the clock going.
Quarterback sneaks. Sanborn gets the first down. Keeps the drive alive. And the clock continues to tick.
Yeah, with 5:15 to go here left in this ball game, Mike, this Westfield D is definitely not looking like the way they were these past couple games. Sure, they've only let up 6 points, but this D line that has been so unstoppable for the, running backs, you know, to just get through, get the big yards, or even quarterbacks to elude. But Sanborn's done an excellent job of getting the ball out quickly and just, you know, blowing past the tackles and defensive ends. And that's why that Union is still in this ball game.
Sanborn dropping, caught but quickly brought down. Good tackle by Rory McGovern.
So,
4:35 to go for 2nd and 9.
So yeah.
Credit the Union Farmers, Chris. Their game plan by Coach Lou Grasso Jr., slowing this game down, not giving the ball to Westfield. They've controlled the time of possession.
It's been excellent coaching by the Farmers, no doubt. The offensive line,
and they have
never been teaching them just keep it up. I mean, Westfield's D-line is one of the best in the state, and they haven't let them get to the quarterback once.
Sanborn really taking his time as this play clock winds down. Under 4 to go. Under pressure, Valabera and Barham were there, and Sanborn that gets pushed out of bounds.
So it does stop the clock, but
so loses a couple
yards. Yep.
Loss of 3 on that scramble. Good pressure from the Westfield defensive unit. And Chris, we mentioned this. We saw a similar ball game in its entirety and a similar final possession week 1, where Linden had a big catch down the field, and then things weren't looking too hot for the Blue Devils. But we said, would you rather have Westfield's offense out there down or Westfield's defense up there to stop it? And like most of the fans for Westfield, me and you both agree, defense is the strength of this team.
Absolutely.
And if the game's on the line, you want this Westfield defense out there.
Well, yeah, I mean, they haven't looked good all game, but, Mike, it's the best.
Only 6 points, though.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's kind of controversial because, you know, they've been giving up these big plays, haven't been getting to the quarterback. But, again, they've given up 6 points in this ball game, and they're still winning. As a false start is called on the Farmers, so it makes it a 3rd and longer for the Farmers, making it about a 3rd and 18.
So 2 plays, they lose about 20 seconds, and they lose 8 yards. So some costly mistakes that moves Union back to their own 48. 3:44 to go. 1 timeout remaining. Sanborn under pressure. He's going to run with it. Jukes out Drew Ortiz. Cuts back to the left. Finally brought down. A good stop from Jake Dayon, and he almost stripped that football.
Yeah, he always goes for the ball, and that's what we've seen a lot. I remember in the state championship game, play was called dead instantly before Jake Dayon ripped the ball out of Bridgewater's running back's hands. And right there again, he just goes for the football. But a 4th and long for the Farmers. If they don't convert here, Westfield has a running clock of 3:09 to go. If they get a turnover on downs, clock will stop, but Westfield will have decent field position and under 3 minutes to go in this game.
Yeah, this is the ball game. Under 3 minutes to go. Westfield leads it 7-6, 4th and 13. Sanborn looking for his man. Incomplete.
What a play.
Batted away by the corner. Adam McDaniel making a huge stop and getting the job done. The Blue Devils just 2:44 away from improving this win streak to 30 consecutive games.
Mike, Adam McDaniel, he was the MVP of the state championship game last year with 2 interceptions and a touchdown. And right there, he's the MVP of this game with probably the biggest stop of the night for the Blue Devils. He comes in at cornerback for the injured Stevie Barton and gets the job done. Absolutely unbelievable defensive stop there by Adam McDaniel, and that's why he's a captain on this team and one of the best players as well. Unbelievably
a huge stop
insane
from the senior, showing his athleticism and his leadership, helping out his man Stevie Barton, guarding the talented Chuck Ifawakuna, as the Blue Devils will keep it on the ground for the rest of this game. That's Tim Allegro picking up about 5 yards, and Union can only stop this clock one more time. It was not an easy night for this offense, Chris, or this Westfield defense. But they do find a way, and they're also going to want to thank the field goal kicker for Union, because this game should be tied right now.
Yeah, and
if anything, Union should have a field goal lead.
If their kicker was, as good as Aiden, they'd have the lead right now with a field goal and an extra point, winning 10-7. As Tim Allegro makes it very close. If he gets this first down, game is over. We're going to make it a 3rd and short. And they're going to bring in the jumbo package here with Shea Elliott and Drew Ortiz in the game. So you've got a couple big guys in the backfield right now. You have 2 middle linebackers, Shea Elliott and Drew Ortiz, and Tim Allegro, who's known as the power back on this team. And first down wins this ball game.
Allegro gets the ball and picks up the first down.
Mike, this game, Westfield really hung in there. Their defensive line, probably one of the best aspects on this team, couldn't get it done. Their secondary really hung in there. They gave up a couple big plays, but when it truly mattered, they got the job done. Stevie Barden injured, and Adam McDaniel stepped up. It was just an absolutely unbelievable finish to this game, and it's all thanks, as you said, to the Union kicker, but also definitely to Adam McDaniel with the huge stop.
And Hank Shapiro in victory formation takes a knee, and that'll be the last time the Farmers can stop the clock. They're really going to wish they didn't have those miscommunications with the offensive play calling early on, where they had to burn their 2 timeouts. Now they take their 3rd, and Shapiro will take one more knee, and Westfield is going to improve to 5-0 on the 2017 campaign, and they've now won 30 consecutive ball games, an incredible streak, and a huge milestone with that 3-0 in front of their name.
Yeah, Mike, a 30-win streak, undefeated, absolutely insane. Not a single tie in there as well. Just absolutely unbelievable. You don't see that. The last time Westfield was this good was in this late 70s. Butch Wilfork, NFL running back, Wilfock, excuse me. My dad told me stories about that team, and it was just absolutely unbelievable. And right now, I'm going to tell my children about this team. Just absolutely an incredible run, and it's just amazing to be up in the booth broadcasting them going through this journey. Because right now, they really just fought. They were down at some points and really hung in there. Hank Shapiro with the early interception, but Stevie Barden, with the only touchdown of this game for Westfield, was injured throughout most of the second half. And then Adam McDaniel stepped up with probably the biggest defensive pass deflection we've seen all season.
And that is the ball game. What a night. It was sloppy, it was ugly, and it was certainly not perfect performance from this Westfield football team. But as they have done for the past 30 consecutive football games, they find a way to get the job done. A final score of 7-6 in favor of Westfield. The lone touchdown at the start of the second quarter. Hank Shapiro finds Stevie Barden on the slant route, and they find a way. We'll have post-game reaction and interviews coming up here on BD TV. Chris, any last words on tonight's performance?
Mike, unbelievable game for this Westfield team. They really pulled it out from when people thought this was going to be a very close game, and it absolutely was. And Sanborn, credits to him, great game, offensive line for the Farmers, but Westfield, they outdid them and coming with 30th in a row. Absolutely phenomenal.
So thank you so much for watching, everybody. Apologize for those first 3 minutes, some technical difficulties, but thank you for watching, and we'll be back next week at Rutgers when Westfield takes on Elizabeth. For our entire crew here at BDTV, our camera woman John Circa, analyst Chris Witzel, I'm Michael Leonard saying so long from Union High School. Westfield wins it 7-6 over the Farmers. Here with Blue Devil postgame with the sophomore quarterback Hank Shapiro and the senior linebacker captain Jake Dayon. Jake, this was a tough performance from you guys. You knew Union was going to be a good team. How did you prepare for them, knowing a lot tougher competition than the past 2 weeks?
We just got to hang in there. We know they were going to make plays with the speed and the quarterback's arm, but we going on to the next play even after the big play. The big play was never a touchdown like it was in the other games. So we just kept finding a way to stop them even or make them drive even longer, and that's what we did.
Yeah, what was this mentality in the second half to stop Andy Martin, the receiver who was on fire, along with Andrew Sanborn, the quarterback for Union?
Well, I know it sounds corny, but we found an excuse to win. We just found a way. I know they got a lot of first downs at the end, but it came down to who has the bigger heart. And that's why we overcame. It was because of our heart. It wasn't because of our skill, because we were outplayed today. It was just what was inside that was the factor today.
Appreciate it, Jake. Great game.
Thanks, man.
And Hank Shapiro getting another touchdown in the books to Stevie Barton on the slant to start out the second quarter. Hank, this Union team, they took so much time off the clock. They won the time possession tonight. But how did this offense make the plays needed and get that touchdown in quarter number 2?
Well, our offensive line was doing a great job making holes for the running back, and that really helped the pass game open up for that slant right there. It was just a good drive, and our offensive line really did a great job.
Appreciate it. And now you guys look forward to a huge game next Saturday, taking on Elizabeth at Rutgers. How excited is this ball club for that huge game?
I mean, we're really excited, but we got to have a really good week of practice in order to get this dub.
Appreciate it, Hank. The Jersey Sports Zone Player of the Week. Westfield takes care of Union 7-6 for win number 30 in a row.